What's up, guys? It's John at National Sports Entertainment, and I want to go into tonight's games, and we can go into last night's, or 2 nights ago it was. Overall, we did good. We picked 3 out of the 4, the 11th and 12th. Lakers we had winning. They didn't cover actually, so we didn't get the cover, but they did win for us. Thunder was nice because that's a nice plus odds victory, and I think we're going to get another one tonight. They were getting about the same as they are tonight, about plus 180. And it's always nice. And I think they're going to be the team that makes a run. Preseason, I had that team as the Blazers, but the Thunder definitely fit that mold. And here we got the Heat Bulls. We were able to, again, the Hawks, as I had said, I think the Hawks are going to continue looking a lot better than last year. So that being said, obviously, we got a Bulls Heat and we got Thunder Wolves. So as you can see, I had Raptors Heat because I had the Raptors beating the Bulls. So that was one I was off on. But like I said, we're 3 out of 4 on picks, and on covers we split. So and with the plus odds, it's always nice. So anyway, for tonight, it's going to be basically the same as the last couple nights. I have a favorite covering, and that's Miami. I do think they're going to cover. I think both these teams are good teams, and I'm kind of holding to what a lot of people brought to my attention. They brought up that the Raptors and Bulls, they're just kind of in a repackage mode. DeRozan's definitely going somewhere next year. Now, they did make the point of having his daughter be a focal point, so I'm wondering if that's going to be something. But I still don't think that means much for Chicago, to be honest. I don't think they would be a play-in if they were going to do anything with this team. They have Beverly. I think he's just ready to start his podcast, retire. So I think the Heat blow them out. Here we got Thunder Wolves, and I love this one. I like the upset. Thunder are going to win this game. This is why I had the Lakers beating the Wolves. I think they have the writing on the wall. We have a self-imploding team here up against a guy that they are just really putting the strap to this guy. Maybe Ja was supposed to get some love this year and he screwed up, and now they're just giving SGA that much more love in the West. Because Dame, he stopped playing halfway through the year. Steph's been injured. It's like they want us to know SGA is, and he's good. Like I'm not saying he's not, but again, all these guys are picked, and so it's very interesting. So, yeah, I think he's going to make a nice little run and probably wind up knocking out the Lakers. I don't think they'll play the Lakers, but they'll probably wind up knocking out a super team. And I like the Heat for the cover here. So, yeah, those are my 2 plays for tonight, and I have some time, so we can go into this. I was going to do it the other night, but I had like a few minutes. I just wanted to get the picks out. So, anyway, here's another one. So, this story writes itself. Speaking of stories, just before my title wasn't, a joke. This is actually the truth. I suppose because of just how bad they did, the NBA is actually suing the Mavericks, fining Mavericks $750,000 for failing the fans, which is funny because as a fan you can't sue because it's quote sports entertainment. So instead, the league's just going to take money, and I'm sure they're going to put it to a good use, right? I'm sure they're going to disperse it among the Mavericks fans. But, yeah, to me, this stuff is, they're saying they purposely tanked, and maybe they did. Again, here, days after a UFC WWE merger, we have a team getting fined for it. And now they're basically putting out in the open, we purposely tanked. So, it's actually very interesting. The story, to me, has damage control written all over it. I haven't been following, as much as I picked the Mavericks and sometimes faded them this year, I didn't follow them as far as where their fan base is at. I do know they have a very loyal fan base, so this is very interesting. And I don't know if you remember, now maybe this is to deflect, because earlier in the year when they were protesting that loss to the Warriors, I kept saying I think it's going to come down to one game, and it's going to be an off-season story. So they have an off-season story, but it's not having anything to do with the Warriors. So I'm wondering if the Mavericks come out and start pleading that they were screwed in that game, and that's why they arrested the players because they were behind the 8 ball anyway, something to that effect. And they wouldn't have been in this problem if they weren't screwed in the Warriors game. I could really see, a lot of arguments being made. So you see a kid here with some political language, and they're essentially just saying that they didn't do anything wrong, which is a joke. I mean, if you watch the Blazers, you watch certain teams this year, you can just laugh at the times that a questionable guy that could definitely go sits out of an important game So yeah, this is interesting, but you can see that this is not the first time it happened with Cuban. And again, I think it's all just a talking point. I really don't think that the league has any leverage over Cuban, or they have leverage, but I don't think they have enough to make this a story. This might, who knows? Maybe the protest was real. Maybe he really was pissed, and now they're getting back at the Mavs. I just find this very laughable and interesting, and I want to cover this story to see how it develops because I really think between Kyrie going there and them just tanking, and now admittedly tanking, Luka's free throws all year. I'm wondering if people are really questioning the league, and that's why they came out with this little PR stunt, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I do find it interesting, and like I said, there's always stories in the NBA, and that's what they want. They want stories. So here is a great story. We got SGA, who's probably going to average a triple double, as is Joker. They're probably going to have like two guys averaging a triple double or something here. And yeah, I think they keep this this argument for Joker. They use it all the time, and they use it with Luka too, and it's a good argument. It's basically how effective are you when you can't win games. So you can get triple doubles, but if you're not winning games, it's not that big of a deal. And the last couple of years, Joker won MVP, and really, they've proven that he's not proven to be even a top 4 team in the West. I think this upset of all the games makes the most sense. People would like to see the Thunder make a run, I believe. I also have a theory because you have all these super teams. You got Russell Westbrook on one, you have Harden on one, and you have Durant on one. And it'd be funny if the Thunder made a run and like Durant and Russell didn't. It'd be interesting. So I'm just be curious to see, them make a team, or them make a run, but a lot of super teams fall out. They already beat one super team. I would qualify the Pelicans as one. If you look at their individual players, you got 3 guys, I would say, Ingram, CJ, and Zion. I know Zion's been hurt a lot. But they would qualify, I think, as a big 3. So, yeah, the Thunder, I think, are going to be the team to make a run here. Clippers and Suns. Now, if there was to be one I was wrong about, it would probably be this one, just being honest, because I do have the Clippers winning. This is probably going to be like a home, they've always pushed these teams like that. I do have the Clippers winning this series. I have them going to the Western Conference Finals. But if the Warriors win, which I actually think they will, I've been saying all year they've been setting up a Warriors-Suns match, a rivalry between Booker and Clay and all these different things. So I'm still sticking with the Clippers because I like the Clippers that much. But I do believe that if the Clippers lost and and the Suns win, it just makes me that much more certain the Warriors are going to win. I could say that. Then we got Lakers and Grizzlies, and we got Ja being punished. So normally I would definitely have the Grizzlies winning this, but since Ja's being punished, I don't think they're going to give this team a run. Same with the Dallas, didn't even get in until they're actually ready. And again, I do find it interesting we have so many teams from California in the playoffs. And this would be very interesting if the Lakers, we'd have 75% of the teams left comprising of California. I know people are talking about the Battle of LA. So, again, I think it's going to be a very back-and-forth type series. I do think the Lakers are going to win it, though. So, that one's I switched on. Now that the Lakers are in the playoffs, I could reassess, and I don't think they're going to go further than that, but I do think they're going to win that. Then we got Heat Bucks here, and I think they're going to have the Heat positioned pretty well. That's why I have them winning pretty decisively tonight. But I don't see them doing much, to be honest. I think they'll probably take them to 6 and lose. Make Giannis look really good. Cleveland Knicks here. I was kind of back and forth on this one. And I was originally going with the Knicks. Then I was thinking, maybe Cleveland. But then I thought about it, and I do think there's nothing that tells me that they're like pulling the brakes here on the Knicks. They haven't done anything to tell me that this is the end of their season. It's not like the Wolves and other teams where I'm seeing them kind of shutting down. I'm just seeing the Knicks are actually deeper than I even thought. And after the trade, they got Josh Hart. They look even better. So I think a decisive win over the Cavs, establishing them finally as a legitimate top playoff team again, is the way to go. And if you notice, we have a trend here. We have a lot of East Coast and a lot of West Coast. I wonder if that's a coincidence here. Just like specifically Northeast. So we got like New York and Philly here. And then we got and it's the Boston. And then we got we got the New England area and the New York area, and then we got basically the California area. So I try and look at that too. They did that in baseball, so I think they do that in basketball as well. Here we got Sixers Nets, and this reminds me, especially with the UConn victory, I like the Sixers even more now. I've gone in before. It's a 76th season, which is cool enough. A lot of people will try and fight me on that and say it's the 77th. To that, I say last year they kept pushing it as the 75th anniversary, and then there was a bunch of 7-5s and 5-7s that added up with Steph Curry, even tied into the Super Bowl 5-7. I went into a whole video on that on my old channel. Long story short, to the people saying it's the 77th, why was last year the 75th? They kept pushing it. And even if you look up 76th year, it comes up this year. So I think it's definitely being recognized more as a 76th year than the 77th, even if it is technically the 77th. I think next year is the 77th, and there's a number 77 that I think might get some redemption. So I could be wrong. Now, you could see I have Philly going down 3-2 because Doc's known for for just not winning games he should. And I think they're going to tease that, but I think he's going to get it done. And this one, I think, is going to be a very back-and-forth series. I think Trey is going to be established. They're going to establish two guys, I believe. So last year, obviously, they established Tatum in the East. This year, I think they're going to establish in the East Young and Mitchell. They already are, and I just think they're going to establish them. I think Boston winds up taking it, though. And then in the West, obviously, SGA is getting all the spotlight. So that leaves us with some interesting matchups here now. Now we got the Clippers, and again, I think they're all stories. Lakers, Warriors, Clippers, Thunder here. So you could get the Battle of LA for sure. And now that I'm looking at it, it actually looks pretty darn enticing. I'm not going to lie. And if LeBron were to get that far and then come back, I think they might run that same Chris Paul story with him. So let's first off, the Thunder Lakers. I think this one's going to be a good series, but they're not all going to go 7. So I think the Clippers will take this one in 6. And this one, I don't know why. I've had a feeling all year. I thought it was going to be against the Suns. But, and I know I said just a minute ago, they're not going any further than this. But, as you know, I do all these live. I have a feeling that Game 6 Clay is going to lay an egg. I don't know why. I just do. And I think he's going to fail in Game 6. He's been cocky all year. I thought Booker, and it still could happen if the Suns win. Like I said, I just have the Clippers winning because I like Doc versus the Clippers. But yeah, if there was going to be like a change up, it would probably be Warriors play Suns instead. But I think Clay gets humbled in Game 6. Just have a feeling. And what I was going to go into as well, I was going into a few things at once with the playoffs. Not only do I like the Sixers because it's the 76th year, but UConn perfectly fits their color scheme. So when UConn won first, I know it's a reach, but I noticed last year it was all blue and orange teams, yellow and gold, whatever colors you want to call them. They all essentially won those shades. So Georgia was the first to win. Then we got the Chiefs. So I was liking the red and white teams, and I was even liking the black trim or the blue trim, the dark blue trim. And sure enough, UConn won. Now in the playoffs, the teams left all had that color scheme, red, white, and blue, which is funny because it's only about 10 to 12% of the teams, but that's what it came down to at the end. But in the NBA, I'm liking the same. I'm liking the Sixers because they fit that red and white with that shade of blue. Of course, there's other teams that fit it, but I just like them. And now we got the we got the Bucks and Knicks. And we could have Knicks make an upset here. I do think that the Bucks are going to win. I think they're going to be positioned as like the Celtics last year, or the Suns, I should say, just like this unstoppable force. And this one is going to be a slugfest, I think. And again, maybe Doc, goes down 3-2 or something. I'm not sure. Maybe he's up and then goes down. I think it's going to be more of home teams winning, to be honest. And again, I do like Doc to win this. I like him to beat Boston. And that's going to take us to the conference finals. And yes, like I said, I got the Lakers going around further than I normally did. And you see we got that 5-7. That's interesting, 7-5. But yeah, I like Battle of LA. People brought it up to me, and I think it'll happen. So, especially because I still maintain that LeBron's definitely not winning another ring until his son gets in the league. So, having him have this workhorse of a year where he's arguably the MVP, and then he busts his ass, and probably because of somebody like, I don't know, Davis. I guarantee it'll be Davis. Or maybe it'll be the other Russell because it's the year of Russells. I have a feeling that it's just not going to be enough, and it's going to be a big LeBron pity party, kind of like Aaron Rodgers. Like, oh, he did everything, if only his teammates could have helped him a little bit, yada yada. And then we got Milwaukee looking very strong, going to take a lot of people's money, in my opinion. And maybe we do get this. Maybe we got Philly up 3-1, and then they blow a couple games. And again, I'm not saying this is going to happen every single series, but I do think it's going to be a commonality with Doc's games. I do think that's an issue is going to come up a lot of, Doc blowing leads, and then if he can get it done. So now we got Doc versus his old team, a super team, and a guy who's blown a lot of leads, hasn't won in 15 years. So it'd be interesting. I don't think a ton of people will be on him, but I think, again, narratives reign supreme. This will probably be about a 50-50. I think public could be 50-50 on this series. This seems about as 50-50 as you can get. I do think that they're finally going to show Doc some love, and he's going to get it. And I just think that's how he's positioned. So I've gone over this before. Not much has changed. Lakers being in here is literally the only change. I even had the Thunder in here. I just had the Blazers. Oh, no, the Kings. I didn't have... At the beginning of the year, I had the Kings not making it. So not all of our reads were great, but the East we nailed. All the teams outside of... I had the for the play-in, I had the Wizards instead of the Raptors. And if you want to just see something funny, watch YouTube Mad Dog rants about the Wizards. It's like, hey, these guys aren't actually betting on it, but he goes on some rant about how he had the Wizards getting 36 games and he lost money because they didn't get 36 games. And once you realize that they know it's like they're not actually betting on it, it's just funny watching them rage about how they lost all this money. But yeah, so this is what I have happening. You can see a lot of California here in the West. And yeah, I really like, again, I'm not the one who came up with the idea of Battle for LA. It's been in my comments for a little bit now. So to the people that have been posting that, now that it's actually literally just like they both have to win and it happens, I actually like it a lot more. Before it needed a lot more to happen. But now, it's pretty interesting in my opinion that they can match up pretty, they just need a win. Like I said, nothing crazy needs to happen. And then, yeah, PJ Tucker, versus the team that he won the championship with, Bucks and Sixers. Embiid said this team was a PJ Tucker away from winning a championship. What's funny is I had said that, and then someone told me Embiid said it. And I'm like, what are the odds we said the same quote? But it's the truth, because he's the perfect guy for a championship team like that. So I'm like, yeah, they just need like a guy like PJ, like the Heat had last year. And so I think that's going to be the reason that Sixers win. Like, it's not just, the color scheme, the 76 year. It's just everything seems to line up. I like Doc. I think they're also kind of just flying under the radar right now in the East, like exactly like most finals teams wind up doing. They don't look terrible. They don't look amazing. So, yeah, I think they're a perfect team for this. And, yeah, so Sixers, Clippers, and I think Doc wins it. And I just thought I'd do my entire bracket. That way, if I'm not able, like I said, I've been doing a lot of different things. If I'm not able to get out a video every single night, at least you know who I'm going to have. But like I said, I still want to try and, as I always do with each round, that way we can see the money line, which one we're picking the spreads on. And again, tonight just going to be, I like the spread on the Heat. I like them to cover, and I like the Thunder to win straight up. I'm going to play them both as leg twos. I did forget to say that on my last video. I wound up playing them both as leg twos as well. So these are going to be 2 leg twos. You can plug them in for anything. I will be able to start doing that, our daily sequences again. Like I said, I've just been working on my RBT. I've been working on a few other things. And I've also been trying to do classes. So trying to get the videos out just isn't as easy. But I still wanted to get out my picks and just what I believe about all this. And I thought the Mavericks story was too entertaining not to cover. And I'm curious to see where that continues to go. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate everyone. I was sick for a bit. I've been feeling better, but just busy as well. So I appreciate everyone that's just been curious, reaching out, asking if I've been all right. Everything's been good. And I'll get videos out as often as I can. Sometimes I have more time than others. Today I'm really free. Tomorrow I'm not so free. So on days where I'm more free, I figured I can get out longer videos, kind of going into future bets and stuff instead of an hour before the game. I'm just dropping a last minute. I like this team because. So thank you, everybody, again. Take care and happy earnings.